All right. Hi, everybody. Sorry, once again, I don't have any video, but this computer just will not pull it up. So, but thank you guys for being here. This is going to be our kickoff class for DotLoop tips and tricks. Melinda Hires has volunteered to help us with this. She's gotten training through DotLoop, so she will have the most up-to-date information and everything else. For those of us that have been using DotLoop for a long time, definitely feel free to throw up questions into the chat or to unmute yourself during pauses and ask away if you have specific questions or if you need Melinda to go back to anything as we're going through. But what we would also like to ask is we would like this to be a continuing tutorial that we can do, you know, once a month or once every couple weeks, whenever people need stuff. So if there are things that are slightly more advanced or things that you've always had questions on, please do throw those into the chat or ask away, and Heather and I will take down that information and add it to the next class that we can do on this, because we really would like to get everybody up to speed on using this program. It really is great. Speaking from the broker in charge side of things, DotLoop was a godsend. I know people get frustrated with the functionality sometimes just on the buyer and selling agent side, or the selling and listing agent sides of it and everything. But to your administrators and your brokers in charge, this is a wonderful program that they would really love you to use to its highest advantages. So please do just follow along, take notes, and hopefully all of you can be a little bit happier using it too, because it is a great program. So I will turn it over to Melinda now. Thank you again so much for doing this for us, and everybody sit back and enjoy.
Hi guys, just dovetailing off of Amy. Let's see. I'm going to teach the basics class, and based on the feedback and the questions and things like that you have, what we're going to do is sequels, and each month might be a different class based on a certain area of functionality in DotLoop. But right now we're going to do a huge overview, and towards the end I'm going to give you some really cool tips and tricks so that we can save some time, because y'all know time is money. Little bit about me in case you don't know me. My name is Melinda Hires, and you guys already know that. This is the first time I've done a Zoom meeting where I'm sharing my screen. So please let me know. The biggest issue might be my navigation, and so please bear with me. I'll do my best. But I've been a realtor for 10 years, and I have been I'm a DotLoop certified trainer for about 3 years now. So if anybody has any questions, or if you would like me to do a class for your office or your team, I've done that before. I'm available certainly to do that. Sometimes you might want to do a team building thing or something. Just let me know. There's some people I don't even know on here, so I'm assuming we got some new people, or I just haven't had the opportunity to meet you. I'm glad you all are here. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to share my screen because you don't need to see my ugly face for this whole thing. But the important thing is that we look at the screen and see, like I said, we've got some, I just want to make sure that it's not a navigation thing. All right, so here is what your DotLoop will look like. And by the way, this is my personal DotLoop. And so I am, I'm trusting that because we're doing this on within our board, that I can share this, because it's specific to some of the forms that I'm going to show you are specific to our DotLoop. But if you see anything, please just erase your mind and forgive me, because I have, you know, it's not my intent to expose anything It's just my intent to educate y'all. So anyway, so this is what it looks like when you are, I'm gonna try to move this little thing. I like seeing your faces, but I need to navigate here. All right, can you see my cursor?
We can't see your screen, Melinda.
Can't see my screen. Dang it. All right. What do you see? Are you just looking at me?
I see the grid of everybody in the class.
Yes, but your screen is just you in your office.
Cool.
Usually if you click that screen share at the bottom and then you double click on your, where it says screen, where it says like whatever you're trying to show us, just double click on that if it's Google or whatever, and it should start popping up. That.
Give me a sec. Shoot. All right. This ain't right.
I'm going to try to share mine real quick and just see if it pops up so we can make sure that there's nothing going on with Zoom right now. So hold on one second. Let me know if you guys see mine. Are you seeing my email?
Yes.
Okay. So let me stop sharing mine. So yeah, Melinda, I'm not sure what, if you're on a desktop, it should probably come up along the bottom. If you kind of hover over the bottom, you'll see.
It says share screen. So I'm
Yep.
sharing my screen right now.
Yep, if you click on that, there should be like maybe 5 things that come up. It'll say screen, whiteboard, and then anything else that's open in the background.
Okay.
And you're just going to want to double click on whatever you want to show us. There it goes. Oh, people work. Yay.
Yes, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, so I can't, usually when I'm doing a class, I'm navigating through different desktops with my MacBook. I'm able to go to different screens, and apparently with Zoom you can't do that. So that's what I just discovered. So just bear with me through this. I'm just gonna do it in my Acrobat. Can you guys see this? My PowerPoint thing?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. That's not where I want to do it from. But for sake of ease, I'm just going to do it this way. So no. All right. The agenda, instructor intro, my name is Melinda Hires, blah, blah. Okay, support resources and this is where I'm supposed to take my navigation and go to my other screen and show you at the top of your DotLoop, you are going to, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to deal with this here. Can you see this? Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what, when you sign into DotLoop, this is what it looks like. So this right here is reporting, but it's normally bogus because we don't have all of our stuff, our loops done. But if you do things the right way, this will show you what you're doing. See, I don't keep up with my stuff, so my things are inaccurate. But it's just if you're a numbers person, that's really good. This right here is a navigation bar. It's a global navigation bar. So loops, there's 2 different ways to have your loops. Some people like to have them in list form like this, okay? But you could also have it in grid view like this. See, sometimes I get all motivated and I put an actual picture on my loops. It really depends on what you like to do, all right, or preference, but list view is pretty easy, right? And so that is the different options with that. This takes you to all your loops. And think about your loops as if they are a folder, okay? This is your folder, meaning, okay, each folder has a different address. Oh, look at that. So, and so if each folder has a different address, then inside that folder is going to be different files, like your contract, your buyer agency agreement, all that kind of stuff, right? And so when you do that, you have it all organized, okay? And it's super, super important to, okay, I'm all over the place. Let me stop this. All right. I'm just going to wing it, guys, okay? Whoops. I'm just going to teach the damn class. Okay, so tasks. Tasks is really cool. Most of you guys, if you're a regular agent, you have tasks that you're assigned an admin person, okay? So if you wake up one morning and you've said, uh-oh, I forgot to, so these will be assigned to me. Okay, so these are things that your admin person will put in here. Oops, I forgot to put the septic information on 108 Pete Jones Road. Okay, so you just check them off as you get done, and it's a super way to keep track of what you need to do each day. Okay, this right here, this right here is people, and there's this could mean a whole bunch of different things. So this is where your DotLoop acts as a CRM. Okay, so the really cool thing about DotLoop is that it's a whole bunch of things all in one, and it's so much better than having all these different platforms when you have all of them included in one. Okay, so this is if you wanted to set up your service providers or your vendors. If you have some that you work with specifically all the time, you put them in here. Here's contacts. You'll see, okay, so I have everybody and their mama in here, whether it's clients, whether it's other agents, whether it's vendors. This is my contacts list, okay? And so this is just me right here. So everything is all saved. And another cool thing is if you ever leave your company and you keep your DotLoop account, it's transferred, everything, all the contacts stay with you. It's really a nice thing. And this right here, this button on your navigation is about your actual templates. You can make templates. My particular company has their own different things. I've got my own personal stuff right here if I wanted to do something, but your documents will be over here, and you just grab them and you'll add them to a loop, okay? Going back to my loops. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint. All right. There we go. All right, so this is the support number. If you ever need to know anything about DotLoop, it's 888-DotLoop. They're always friendly and welcome to have any questions, or if you have IT issues, they're there for you. So it's really important to have that. This right here is what I was trying to tell you about earlier. DotLoop is not just like, you know, somebody mentioned DocuSign. You have the ability to edit. You can share it. You can have your edit PDFs. You can share them. You can sign them. You can be in compliance with paperless. And I just want to mention, it's such a blessing to be able to have all my stuff in one spot, no matter where I go. I don't have to go to the office to get a file. And also you have the ability to share this with your clients. I always tell my clients, listen, if you're in the middle of moving, you know, I have this program called DotLoop. So you ever get somewhere and you're like, man, where's that document? Just, you know, you want to encourage them to create an account, number one, because you'll have them in there and they'll be one of your contacts for good if they create an account. But number two, it's a nice paper trail, and it gives them the ability to be able to pull something up. If it's a year and a half later, they wanted to see their appraisal, they just sign right in, and you know, they've got it for 7 years. It's just another thing that you can offer your clients as service. So all these other companies offer these different things, but DotLoop is all of them. Okay, so it's really cool. You have storage. You have all your files in one place, and if you ever have to go through an audit or anything like that, I'm not worried about it. No problem. You're not scrambling and looking where that file is, or going up to an attic and finding the old files like we used to. It's just a really good resource to have on your side. So most everybody, if you're taking this class, you already have a account. But if you need to log in, you would just go to the DotLoop website, type in your email and your password. Okay. And what you can do is create different sets of your documents. All right. I just did the global navigation bar, and we'll look at an existing loop. All right. So we're going to add a loop. Okay. And we're going to, you just click add loop. Okay, and so you're starting fresh. So just put in your mind, adding a loop is like adding a new folder, opening up a new folder. Sometimes you can have an address. Typically we want to remember them by an address, but sometimes you have a buyer, you haven't picked a house yet, right? So you would just put their name, and then later on when you are actually writing an offer, you can change that into the actual address. Okay, so for now I'm just going to write my name because I'm going to pretend like you know, I'm a buyer. All right, so here I can either upload a photo. Like I said, if we already had an address, we could go ahead and upload a photo of the house if we want. It just really depends on how much you want to get into DotLoop. Okay. Then, okay, so now we have our loop. Melinda hires as a buyer. Okay, so we can go purchase. This right here is, you want to label it, whether it's a listing or a purchase or whatever the case may be. So here you can write things in that, whether it's a pre-offer, whether it's under contract, and then, you know, later on you can go back and you can change this. Okay, it's just a reference on the first on your global navigation page, showing you what the status is of that particular folder. And then you know, you can put whatever for the price, or you might not want to even write anything. I normally don't until I know what we're going to do. Okay, So then we're going to create the loop. Okay, so here we're in the loop now. This is the buyer's name. I use my name, okay? So here's where I already put in purchase. It's a pre-offer. And if I wanted to view details, it's a good habit to click right here. Again, the global navigation bar is always here for you. But once we're in a loop, we're inside the folder of that property, okay? So if you have a listing, you're gonna put all your what? Listing documents there. If you have a buyer, you're going to have all of your supporting buyer documentation in there. But what happens if we have both? So we have a listing and then it goes under contract. So you'll have two folders. A lot of people open up 6 different folders. They say they want a folder for every phase of a transaction. To me, that's a little confusing. I think you should have a buyer folder and then you could have a selling folder. Okay, but it's up to you how you want to organize your business. But just know if you may have preferences according to your office. Everybody's different. So here you can add a folder. So in the Melinda Hires loop, we have 2 folders, okay? So I've got, I'm gonna just use one of my listings. Okay, so that's one of the houses that Melinda's looking at. And this right here, we can go over here and we can rename each folder. Okay, so you remember what category is in what. So here I might have my okay, you can do that, okay? Or you can have a listing and then have listing documentation. And then when it goes under contract, you would write buyer Betty Jones, okay? You would do that. So usually all of the loops will have 2 folders in it, one on the buy side, one on the sell side, okay? One could be, if you have the selling side, you would have a documentation folder, because if it falls through, you still want to keep that buyer folder, because remember, we are required to keep a record of it. Say it falls through, this one fell through, and we have another one, you would go here and or say if you're on the buyer side, we ended up terminating Brown Road, but guess what? Now we've got, okay, so now we have another one. And so another thing you can do is, if this one right here terminated, go here, you can have it there, so if you want to look at it, or you can archive it. That way it's streamlined and it is right there for you to stay focused on and not have 50 different loops, okay? But you just know that if anything happens, it's really important to keep records, and that is paramount for being a realtor today, and making sure that you have the ability to save all your records. All right, so here, over here, we can add a document. Add a document right here. So we have 3 different things. The templates are all of your forms, okay? Most of all of us, if we're with a company, they've had admin already create that for us. Here is if you have a file that you want to add to the loop, okay, like an inspection or something that's not in your North Carolina forms or your JBOR forms, or you can email in something. Okay, so this right here, let me show you. you would copy this. Say you've got something on your phone and you want to get it into the loop. You would copy this, and then you would go in your email or wherever it happens to be, copy this, and just send the email with that, whatever it is you want to be put into the loop. I've had this happen when I didn't have my computer, but I was just working from my iPad or something like that. This little option can be pretty handy, okay? And so right here is really cool because you can pull something. Say you already went to the GIS and pulled all your maps and your deeds and everything, and typically they'll either be down here or they'll be up in a file. So you can drag to this spot, or you can browse and grab something. You know, here's a flood map. I wanted to go ahead and put that in there. And then you can rename it here. I don't want my buyer to see flood check not in flood. Why? Because all of coastal properties are in the flood zone, but it's just it was my notation. So I would just rename it something. Something that would be more appealing for my buyer to see, or whoever I'm going to send it with. Okay. So in doing that, backing up just a little bit. So that's how we put our loops together. Okay. And if we're going to do anything with our forms, a really cool feature is this. We have, see, here's where you can use a property address or your name. And so down here is super important. Did you all see where I was? Here's my loop. Okay, and we added the documents, purchase, pre-offer. Okay, as soon as you make a loop, this is a really good habit. Go in here, okay, and fill this stuff out, okay? You could, this is where you're gonna add your people, okay? Let me see, who's on here? Can I? Do you care? So here I got, my earring just fell out. Okay, so say I wanna write an offer for Alexis, and she's gonna be the listing agent, okay? I would fill all this in, add person, and there she is. You see that? Add person. Then you can put in whoever you want. She's going to be the buyer. Add person. Okay, and so we have Jenna Morton, we have Alexis Pearson here, and each of them have, you're going to label exactly what their role is going to be. Okay, if you already have this set up, it's going to be so much easier if while you're writing an offer, because your forms will autofill for you. It's really a wonderful thing. And so here you're going to add all of the information about the property. Oops. Okay. Right. Here you're going to do the purchase price. And this financial part right here is for the different forms that you have, okay? So you'll get to know exactly what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You know, you can put your earnest money, and you can put that in later if you want to. Contract agreement date and the closing date. These are for pre-filled forms. If you do this, your life is going to be really pleasant. Inspection date is going to be, you fill this all out when you first are either going to write an offer or something's about to go under contract, okay? Oh, we even have an expiration date. So then if you have a referral form, you can already see, I have a lot of forms that my company already has for pre-fill. And as you make forms, you will find out, for yourself that filling out this portion is just really a handy thing, because it automatically pre-populates your forms when you fill all of this out, okay? And then I'll just go through it quickly. This is if you have a listing, your legal. You see this? This is probably stuff that a lot of you guys I'm just adding random stuff. All right. Then you save it. Back to your loop. And then, oh, look, I accidentally got 186 Brown Road, and I just went ahead and unarchived it. I meant to archive this one. So let's go to 186 Brown Road, pull that up. We're going to add a document. Go to our templates, okay? And what we're going to do is, now these are already done, okay? These are, you know, your own company is going to have your own stuff, okay? And each individual office might have just a different way of doing things. So you're going to put all your forms in. For sake of time, I'm not going to show you all of that, but I will show you what a healthy loop will look like on one of my, maybe an old one that I've already closed. So you would pull this up, and you see this autofill automatically happens. We've got the buyer here, and if she's married, you would put that person here. And if you want to add a person, you can go here and add person. The buying agent is, did we have that as Alexis? All right. So we have our working with real estate agents form. And check this out. Okay, that's not even in there. Bad example. Let me just do it. Can I just do it as if I was doing it? Here's an example. Here's the real one, guys. So here I have the under contract documents. No, that's not it. That's from the other agent. I'm trying to get one that I did both sides so that. Here's one I have under contract right here. As you can see, you know, sometimes, I'm sorry guys. All right, here's my listing one. All right, so here's my listing folder. And here's my offer. Okay, so you see a healthy thing. Down here is going to be all the different people who are included in your transaction. And you see here, I've already had my DotLoop Nazis, which is my admin for my my company. They'll write little notes about things that need to be done here, and that gets returned to me. I got to go in and fix them, okay, and make sure it's added as a task, okay. But what I really wanted to show you is sometimes you'll get a form, such as a form that you need to fill out that you don't necessarily want to fill out. Perfect, right here. Anybody ever see one of these? And it's some kind of form. You can do it with anything, any kind of a form. Sometimes it's a form that you just want to look more professional. This is the form that you would use in order to do that. It's called creating a PDF. You can edit a PDF, okay? So here I just added a PDF, and I can add different things like, here's a text box. Oops. And I can't even show it to you. It's so hard. It's just, I'm trying to show you guys how to do this without, because I'm not in person with you. So if you wanted to write, you can do that. You can save them. You can add signatures and assign it to anyone in your loop. Just so, well, I mean, I'm just using this as an example. It's just this for this particular form. But this is how you modify a PDF. Okay, you can go in here and write your whatever. So I just added this text box. There's a couple little tricks I wanted to show you. One is the old-fashioned way you would move it like this. But if you hit your shift, you click on it and hit the shift button and move your cursor to where you want it to be, it'll go out like that. Another cool thing is you can add, say I was going to add initials, and you need to initial in a bunch of different spots. Okay, so we can assign the field to somebody to initial something. The little trick that I have, you click out and you're going to grab that little initial, whatever you want to copy, and you would do Shift Control C, and then Shift Control V, and then I'm going to put my finger on the Shift key and watch what happens. This is a mind blower if you guys are paying attention. For all those forms, especially like the MOG, the mineral oil rights form, it's really super cool. And another thing you can do is you can add, say you can add it works with multiple people. So if you wanted to go like this, like that, you would the same thing, drag it, Shift Control C, and if you have a Mac, it's Shift Command C, and then Shift Command V. How about that for every single time you want to do the initials on the bottom of your contracts, you can just scroll down. So keep your finger on the Shift and then click, and then click, and then click, then scroll down to the next page and then click. So all your pages are going to be, initialed in a really quick manner. So that would really save you a lot of time. That's probably my favorite little trick having to do with when I'm writing my contracts.
Sorry, can you show me how you grabbed those signatures one more time?
Yeah.
I know how to do the copy and paste for one, but to grab both.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me just pull an actual, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, well, say I got an offer from somebody else, right? And you put in the PDF of that. I'm trying to do this without exposing people. And, so I'll just do it again. Trying to see if I have something. Here's a net sheet. I'll just be different, do something different. Oops, that's not a good idea. Because that's not all the way sold yet. And pull this up again. All right. So you would add initials. Assign it to your person. Add initials. So on your contracts, I'm not here to show you guys how to write contracts, but this is a super easy little trick that we can use for that bottom of the page when we have initials, okay? All right, so that's the bottom of your page or wherever you want your initials, but say you wanted some initials over here too, or there's a whole bunch of places that need to be initialed. So I'm pressing down, I'm dragging to select these two, okay? Now I'm releasing, and you see how it changed colors? It's indicating to me, hey, I got them. So you're gonna go, and I've got a little cheat sheet that I'm gonna send to everybody or provide for you if you need one. Just let me know. Shift, Control, C. Then Shift, Control, V, and there they are. Keep your finger, lift up your finger off the shift, and then it's just one time, okay? But if you want to do like multiple that I just showed you, you would go Shift, Control, V, and keep your finger on Shift, okay? And then click, and then click, and then click, and then click. then scroll down to the next page and put your initials there. Scroll down to the next page, put your initials there, okay?
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So they're called hotkeys. If you want, on a Mac, again, it's a shift command. So another little trick that I wanted to show you was, the same thing applies, like say I added some text. Oh. You see what that is? You see this came up? These are little tricks that you can ask. I have a, see, I'm having a hard time because I can't see my other screen at the same time while I'm teaching this. So it's just the navigation to this is I need to ask y'all for a redo one day. So I'll go ahead and save that, or however you want, and you go back. And so here, I'm gonna show you an offer. You go to write your offer. You have all your stuff here. This is where you're going to put all your autofill stuff. Where you want the closing to be, who is the listing agent. And you could fill all this stuff in and it will auto-populate your contracts, okay? But the cool thing is, we're gonna autofill that. I wanna show you one other thing. It's gonna save. On your global navigation, under your templates, these are all my personal templates that I've created, okay? Then there's another thing called your tasks. And these are different tasks that would be involved. You've got to make these yourself if you want them, or sometimes I created this, and this is mine. These are my lists that and then when I have a contract or if I have a listing, I can task myself at all of these. Okay, these are all the different things. So that's under tasks. Under templates from the global navigation bar. Documents is going to be all of your North Carolina forms or your offer forms. Then you have this thing called tasks that would be there. And you can make up your own. See over here, you can just add a new task list. Then I have this really cool thing called clauses. This is really super important. So, here's one. I type this stuff all the time, so I made it a clause. Something that you're always writing, okay? Something that you're always doing, something that you are tired and you just want to always do. You would put that in clauses, okay? So I've got my phone number in there. I've got, I don't always remember my fax number. I don't always remember my office number. Those kind of things. And then they'll just be super easy for you as you're working on your loops. And I'm going to show you right now how. I hope I haven't lost a few of you just for sake of navigation, because this is really difficult. I'll get it together next time, guys. Just don't give up on me. So I've already here auto-filled it. because remember, when I first opened it, I filled in all those forms, right? So the only thing this is already auto-populated, and this is all bogus information, guys, so don't even pay attention to it. But I just wanted to show you exactly how auto-populate does. So here I've got the buyer. If I wanted to add another buyer, I can. So my seller, I can just add in there, okay? And if anything changes, I fill in the rest, in other words. You know, this is what our form looks like. You can go in, do your dates. Everything's already done for you, just like DocuSign. But when you do the autofill, feature, this is really important and will save you a whole bunch of time if you just go ahead and fill this out in the beginning, because then you're not having to go through and write the entire offer. It basically auto populates and does the whole thing for you. It saves you a lot of time, guys. So anyway, I just got done filling out my offer, right? And it's like 10 o'clock at night. It's super late. And I mean, this is isn't this the favorite section that we love to do? So how many times are you constantly writing your firm name and just different things? So this is where those clauses come in handy. If we were in person, you'd be able to see, but I'm going to just start writing. And then guess what? It's right there. It pops up because I added clauses. So if I forget, it's just right there. There it is. There's my clauses. So I don't have to type in every single time my address. Now, if we would have used the autofill, it would have done it automatically. Some don't, because and if yours does not do this, it has to do with your admin. You can always create your own folder within templates and create your own template of your forms. That way you don't have to retype all this stuff every single time. But if you have to, because you've got an offer and you've got to fill in your other side, you've already got this in your clauses, right? So I've got, there you go. I don't have to type this. And I just start writing my name, and I already know. Sometimes I type it faster than the clause pops up, like that. I already know what my phone number is, but it's right there. It'll help you if you have clauses filled out. It'll help you just get through your stuff a lot faster. Okay. Anybody have questions? All right, I'm gonna.
Melinda, I did have one that was sent over, and it said to give the option like a professional service disclosure. How would you go about doing that? I'm not sure how far back that came in, but.
You mean for if you have a buyer and you have a professional services disclosure that you want to have him fill out?
I'm not sure. Laurie, do you want to unmute and ask that question?
Absolutely. So Melinda, so you can put an option for them whether they want to select it or waive it.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. I'm following. Okay. So in my company, there's a sample, and then there's this. Our company, you're with my company right now, but so that form. So first of all, we would go ahead and autofill. Okay, and so when it says initial, okay, you're going to type all this stuff in. This is the most annoying form, but it's necessary. It actually could have saved my butt here recently, but anywho, so here I've already got my clause. It's already typed in like that. Okay, so if you want to assign this field, if you don't assign the field to give them an option, you can, for this particular form, you can leave it like this. What I would do if I had the buyer, the ones that I don't want to give them a choice, I would just assign their name, okay? But if you don't, then you would just leave it like the initial, where it says, if you have a form that you're doing, like this particular form, my company has already made this. Okay, but if we had a professional service disclosure that didn't already have this, okay, if it was just plain and didn't already have this, if yours does not look like this, you can make it like this. So you would just add initials, okay, and then you would assign the field, and then you can have any of these people, but because this particular form is this particular form, there's also typically, it would say anyone. Okay, this right now is not assigned, so you leave it like that, and anyone can initial here and here. You would send it to your buyer, okay, and they're either going to initial here or initial here. But if you had this professional service disclosure, okay, so if I didn't want this here, little side note, just remove the field, okay? So if this was, close your eyes for a second. I'm downloading it as a PDF. I'm going to add this as if it was a PDF that didn't have, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
So Melinda, saying if you sent that document to them where it shows initial, that gives them the option for them to be able to see that and go, okay, I don't need an accountant. I don't need an appraisal. Is that correct?
I am about to show you another way, but yes, that is correct. Okay. But the problem with that is that they won't follow your directions and they'll sign all of them.
Gotcha.
And here, I'm going to show you the radio button. Okay, here's a radio button where, again, I just selected the radio button and I'm going to hit my shift key. Okay, so now I have another radio button. You see that? I'm going to put that here. All right. Now I made a third one on an accident. So what am I going to do with it? I'm going to throw it away. All right. So this is how you deal with that. You grab them. And you see that little present? You group them. So now on the accountant or CPA, this particular thing, all they can do is one or the other. You see that? That is how you take away the annoyance of having to deal with them signing out everything because they don't know how to read or they don't take time to read.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And so I would suggest you would make your own template, okay, of this, and in which case you can go and do this, your radio button. You just do the whole form and you can save it as a template. And then you would use it and simply assign, but make sure that you group them, okay? I don't even think it'll let you, actually. I don't even think it'll let you save it until they're grouped. But you can't just make a whole bunch of radio buttons because then they'll only be able to click on one of them. They have to be grouped, All right, and I'm going to show you how to do that because that was a great question pertaining to what we do every day in real estate. So these ones are already grouped, you see? These other ones aren't affected, right?
Okay, perfect.
So then we have to grab these. Shift, drag. See, then the little present comes up. Group them, okay? Then click somewhere. Shift, grab, present. Shift, grab, group.
Can you grab that all the way down to the bottom, Melinda?
Okay, so like this. Sure, whatever's in there, but they're only going to be able to click on one per group.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Do what's in here.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'm only able to do one of these. Okay. You can also use check boxes. You can add a checkbox, but then again, you risk the, check boxes are appropriate, right? But then it's not like you're giving them an option. They'll check both because they don't listen, right? So that's the difference between a checkbox and a radio button. A radio button has to be assigned between two, and they only have one choice. Whereas a checkbox is like that, and you could put a checkbox wherever you want, okay? And they can check both. And in this particular form that I'm sharing with you guys, it's not really, you're just going to have an issue with them checking all the boxes. It's better to use a radio button on a form like this that you're providing, and just, hold on, let me delete this and delete this. And because I saved it as a PDF, you see it's already on there, so I can't reuse this unless we can modify it, right? We go like this, put our text box there. I just clicked on it to select it. I'm going to push my shift button and click. And then we have a refillable form, okay, that we can use over and over. I selected it, and I'm going to bring it all the way over. Some of y'all are like super anal, and you're, you want this thing doing this with the arrow, it's crooked, it's not as good. So you would just, if you're like that and you just want everything to be like super perfect, say you don't like that I'm just barely not off that line. If you want to nudge it a little bit, hit the shift and the arrow keys. See, I can go like this. I can move it just a little bit over, move it just a little bit over. So that's another keyboard hotkey, is select it and hit shift and then the arrow keys. If you just want to nudge it just a little bit, because this arrow thing right here can be quite annoying. And so you're navigating while you're writing contracts and that kind of thing. And if you're super picky and you want everything to look flawless, that is the hotkey for that, okay? So, but right here, if your real estate firm is going to be Coldwell Banker or Berkshire Hathaway or Remax or whatever, wherever you're at, just leave that like that so you don't have to fill it out every single time, right? If you want, you can put your all this stuff right here. You just leave that filled out, and that way you don't have to fill it out every time. So let's see, how many did I group? So I'm going to group these. I didn't select them. Select, group. Select, oops, ooh, sometimes that happens. See, those are already grouped. These are not grouped. Oh, those are grouped. Are these grouped? These are grouped. Are these grouped? Where did I leave off? Anyway, I'll fix it later. So listen, you can go up here. Check this out, you guys. Save as template. So you make it one time. I just saved your lives. So, and then you just put it where you want it to be, okay? There, I put it in my personal template because I have different groups. I don't always, I don't put it in my, I don't think I'm allowed to save anything in my company one, so I put it in my personal one. See that?
Thank you, Melinda. That makes a lot of sense.
You're very welcome. Let me go over here to see what I'm missing in teaching the class, because so that's what I just did. Auto-populating, editing your PDF, how your client e-signed the document. All right, so I'm going to go back to the same form. So pretend this is all filled out. We're going to add our initials. And here we have this navigation bar here. Add initials. And then you can assign it. Add initials. Whoever you want it to be. Add initials. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I wish I would have done this form first, actually. Next time I teach this class, just remember to remind me to have a couple of these, because that was really good that we did that. And so there's how you set up how to assign those, okay? And then all I'm gonna do is, then I would add my signature, assign the signature, add the signature, assign the signature, right? And then I put my own there, and I can go ahead and sign it. There's one other thing. If you wanted to add signatures to make this a template, okay? So you can go up here. See where it says role? You would put the agent. Okay, but if you're a seller's agent, if it's on the seller side, you would do that. So here, instead of it being assigned to a specific person, click on role, and you can find, well, this one, because here it's already been assigned to a buyer, it'll just say buyer. So if that ever changed, that name ever changed, it'll just say buyer. But right now, in this particular loop that I made Jenna Morton a buyer, okay, it doesn't say her name, but it's automatically assigned her name because I assigned it as that role. So
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
On this particular document, because I am always the agent, whether I'm the buying agent or the listing agent, is there a way to assign the agent role to me no matter what role I'm playing, because it will always be me signing?
Yes, you would assign it. What you would do is, if you only wanted to do it like that, you need to, this is what you need to do. You need to make yourself your own personal loop, okay, so that you can auto-populate and don't have anybody, if you want it to be customized to you, you would open this up and you would, so if you're you would have a buyer pack saved in your templates, make a buyer pack and make a listing pack. Okay, so you auto-populate all of the forms for a listing, auto-populate all of the forms if you have a buyer, but you have to have both. So in this particular one, because I have it as a buyer, right? So I could assign it to the whoever the buying agent is. I can, and then when you first fill out your information at the beginning, right? When we go about our details, right? Whoever is assigned as the agent, it's going to match up to that role so that you can save it, and then just add all the forms in that template to your new loop every single time, and you have everything so that it's assigned, so you don't have to continuously reassign yourself. It'll always be there. And that would be when you have to make sure that you assign yourself here, or whoever the agent is here. But then in the actual template that you create, you have to assign this as a role, not necessarily the person, because it could change, right? So you just assign it as the role to whoever you want it to be, and then it'll automatically assign whoever that person is, okay? Whoever is assigned on that role is going to go right there. Does that make sense? So right here, I've got Jenna Morton as the buyer, so it's automatically going to see how it says can be signed. But if I added another buyer, whoever it gets sent to first can sign either here or here. So if they don't sign it, I mean, you can go, the cool thing about it is you don't have to go up here and assign it to her, because it was already assigned to her as the role. But again, if the deal falls through, right, and you're finding yourself having to refill out the whole form, if it's assigned as the role, then you don't have to worry about reassigning the signature, because it'll just go to that role. And now that's a little bit of advanced for any of these beginners who are watching. So I'm going to go get back on track here. Okay, so I talked about e-signatures, but what we did not do is send it. So let's go back over there. So I assigned the signatures, right? Thanks for getting me off track. So I just signed mine, but we don't have Alexis's signatures here. All right. And so what we would do, okay, so I just edited that form. It wiped out my signature. You see that? And I could just sign it if I want to. So I just assigned these two spots for Alexis to sign. So once you assign a spot, once you're ready to share it, you can click save, go back. I don't suggest using the save and share button ever. You go back and then you pick which documents you want to send that person, okay? And then you would click on share, and then you can click on the person that you want to send it to and what kind of form that you want to share it with. And this is important when we're dealing with agents who are not in the same company. You don't know who has DotLoop and who does not. So always click on attach PDF to email. Okay, it's always good to have a paper trail. But if somebody doesn't use and they're not conducive to DotLoop, always add it as an attachment. Okay, and then you would click share, and it goes to her to sign. So Alexis, you just got a fake little thing. So then, so that's covering how to get them e-signatures. The tasks list. I already showed you, I got off track and I showed you already the tasks list. And oh, look at that, it's a typo. And I didn't even make this slideshow. That's annoying. So sharing your offer with the listing agent. It's pretty much the same when you're done. Say you have all your signatures taken care of, right? You have all your signatures done, and see right now it's waiting on Alexis to sign. And once I have something signed, you can go ahead and send it to the other agent. So the same thing applies. If I'm going to send something to an agent or anything, don't send it right away, right from the form. If I make any modifications, say I'm going to add a signature and I signed it, or I had the buyer signed it. Okay, then I would see it says save and share. To me, it's just try to train yourself just to do save, because later on you're going to be like, oh shoot, I forgot to add the additional provisions addendum, and then you got to shoot them another email. So it's better to just save it, then go back and click and then click on whatever you want to send them, and then share it. You can share it with the other agent here, if they're the buyer or the agent. This is where, it's important to assign your roles right away. If you wanted to add a note, you can write that here. Okay, and then attach it to the email and share. Okay, sorry for blowing you up, Alexis, but you're the guinea pig today.
You're fine.
All right, so that's how you share your offer with the listing agent. Okay, so managing listings, I've already kind of talked about. There's a lot of different types. There's the ones that you want to fill out. Okay, so, all right, so again, I've gone over the different scenarios about if the agent does not use DotLoop, make sure you always attach, check that button on the bottom. I usually do it anyway. Quite frankly, somebody might be working from the beach and just want to quickly pull it up on their phone or their iPad, and they don't want to sign in. If you have attached it as a PDF, you're just being accommodating to that other agent, and that's super nice. And then there's another scenario where the agent uses DotLoop but does not link their offer. And please don't do that, guys. Just always link it. Oh, the other agent uses DotLoop and links to your listing. Be careful of that, because if they link it to my listing, that happened in the beginning of this class. I accidentally opened up one of those folders that I had gotten from another agent. Didn't end up coming to fruition, but I didn't archive it. And so every time I go to pull up that listing address, I'll see that other folder in there, because they had also made a folder with the same address, sent it over to me. Be very careful with that, because you could be typing things in to a loop that's not yours. And this is where some people, I believe some people are bad mouthing DotLoop right now, because they're saying, oh, DotLoop, because they're associated with Zillow, they share your information and this, that, and the other. May very well be, but if you're an agent, you want people to know your information. It's just about protecting your client's information. And so a situation like this, you want to be very, very careful, because if you're representing the seller, you don't want to share that information on accident with another agent. But this can happen with any platform. But I just wanted to make sure. Another reason why it's super awesome is because once you create a listing folder, you can make it accommodating to the other agents by, instead of having the associated docs in the MLS, you can have them in the DotLoop, okay? And that's another class. Okay, so, all right, so we submit for a review. That is when we have our loop to the point where we're ready, you know, North Carolina, or we're supposed to have everything submitted to our broker in charge. And so that is another awesome reason that we have DotLoop, because we don't have to worry about getting back to the office. We've got a record of it. We have all of our documentation in one place, and it's just a click, and we are we're making sure that we're maintaining our standards of procedures. So I already talked to you about archiving, the copy to feature, the DotLoop inbox. Remember, that was where I was telling you how you can go to, if you're going to add to your loop, there's 3 different ways you can add to a loop. One is from templates. If you want one of the forms or some of your own forms, or you can browse and pull up a PDF off of your desktop or a file folder, or you can email. The email feature is really cool, because like I said, if you're on the go or something and you don't have the ability to pull something up from a file because you don't have your computer with you, you can always email it. Okay. There's also a messaging feature, and I'm going to show you that real quick. So right here, this is your messenger feature. See how when I added that note, when I sent her that aerial flow map, those documents, anything that I send along with documents gets put here, but you could also just type another note while you're there if you don't even have anything to send. You know, and then I can just select whoever I want to send this to, right? And then send it. That way I'm not necessarily sending or anything, but it's just a form, but everything is in one place, guys. If you ever get audited, okay, or anything like that, you have your conversation right here. Takes you away from your phone, takes you away from, you won't have to look in Messenger, you won't have to look on your phone, you won't have to be printing out anything. All your notes are in one place. It makes DotLoop super phenomenal. Because then, hey, it's right there. You want to question me? There we go. This is what that's what was said, okay? Does that make sense? That's a really cool feature. This right here are notifications. This is if you have tasks that are due, or if you missed an assigned signature, you're going to get a flag, okay? And they'll email you too and let you know, which is pretty cool. This is a lot of information, okay? And typically, the next time I do this, I'm going to have dual screens. I just made up my mind because this has been embarrassing. All right, so got that. Trusted service providers. It's not really super, super important. No way. No, I must have gone. I didn't go through it all, did I? Yes, I did. Okay, so does anybody have any questions at this time? Is it just me and Alexis on here?
No, you've got quite a few still. Yeah, I don't see anything else in the chats right now, but I have a feeling that if you can send out those your little written cheat sheet for those hot buttons and everything. And if you just send that to Heather, she can send it out to everybody who attended today. That's usually the easiest way. And then I think just let everybody digest what they learned and play around in it. And then they're going to have some questions, I am sure. So anybody, if you do have questions, once you've been diving in, you can always just send those directly to Heather at the board, or you can, you know, talk to us on Facebook or anything like that, and we'll get the ideas over to Melinda, and we will start putting together a class for next time. We do have some openings in July, so if we want to do it as early as that and Melinda's got some time, that would be great. But otherwise, we'll give everybody as much time as they need to play around, digest, and really figure out where we want to go from here. But I really, that, you know, not only covered the basics, but a lot of quite advanced techniques and everything too. But that was just a great overview of how to use this day to day and to make it work well for you. That's our big thing with Flex as well. Learn how to use it to your advantage. And really this will help everybody be able to use this quickly and efficiently and work together with each other. So if there's no other questions popping up, we really appreciate it, Melinda. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to do this. And I think that's it.
Okay, sorry about the navigation snafus, guys. We'll get it for next time.
We're all still trying to figure out how Zoom works exactly. So I know it's different for every time we try it, but really thank you again, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming on. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you, Melinda.
You're welcome.